conditional statements in R. So conditional statements are used to check if certain conditions are met. There are two types of conditional statements within R. The if-else statements, and then we'll get into the other forms of if-else, such as if-else and switch, and nested if-else. Well, if a test expression is true, the code of an if statement block executes. Otherwise, the code of the else block executes. So let's look at this example. We say age is equal to 20. So if age is greater than 18, and what R is doing here is imputing the 20 in there. So it says if 20 is greater than 18, which is true, remember it's basically looking at that logical operator, print major. And because that was true, that's where the code ends, right? Because 20 is greater than 18, it would print major and be done. Now if we change this age assignment to 13, if age is 13, so 13 greater than 18, that's false, right? Then we would move to the else statement and print minor. Does that make sense? Now, I'd say this is easier to read for the majority of programmers, but if you're doing short syntax, especially if it's just for yourself, then you can actually create a vector equivalent with this if-else, age greater than or equal to 18, major minor, and it will allow that imputation as well. Switches are control statements that allow a value to change the control of the execution. So it's basically a controlled branch of if-else statements. So it's looking at the expression. So switch at age is that expression, and then it's going to major or minor based on what age says. So you can see age is assigned major, so it would go switch age, it looks at major, so it would print age is greater than 18. Now there are nested if-else statements where only one statement executes depending on the test expression in the if block. So here we're assigning x to 0. Now here we're saying if x is less than 0, well actually x is 0, right? So we're not printing a negative number. Else if x is greater than 0, well x is 0. So we don't print positive number, so we move to the next step, else print 0. These always move sequentially and always stop executing. If-else statements always stop executing as soon as something occurs. But because x was not less than 0 and because x was not greater than 0, we moved from the if statement to the else if statement to the else statement.